Hi guys, Allie here, and today I'm here to take you on a journal walkthrough, my very first one. The journal we'll be talking about today is titled, How Do Supervisors Perceive and Manage Employee Mental Health Issues in Their Workplaces? And it has three authors, and their names are Bonnie Kirsch, Terry Krupa, and Dorothy Luong. And it was published by a journal named iOS Press on July 17th, 2017. So, the objective of this study was to examine how supervisors experience and perceive mental illness and stigma in their workplaces. And it was conducted under the mandate of the Mental Health Commission of Canada's Opening Minds Initiative, which is the largest systematic effort in Canadian history that's primary focus is to reduce stigma that is related to mental illness, especially within workplaces. Now, how did they figure this out? How did they examine how supervisors experience and perceive mental illness and stigma? Well, here is where we will go to the methodology section of this article. In the introduction, you get a little bit more history and background about how there's not really a lot of research and evidence in this area, and that this study was meant to fill in a little bit of those gaps as far as understanding what it is supervisors feel and deal with within the workplace. Now, the way that they decided to conduct this research was by providing three short webinars where afterwards there was accompanying discussion questions around the topics of awareness, sensitive conversations, communications, and solutions. And the objectives of this program was to raise awareness amongst all supervisory staff, to decrease stigma and better understand the continuum of mental health and mental related illnesses, along with identifying problems related to mental health earlier and prevent them from escalating, and improving supervisor self-confidence and efficacy to handle current problem situations related to mental health and improve the ability to create a healthy workplace environment. And so here I just want to say that our pages read from left to right. So it may look a little confusing, but makes sense after a while. So the methods they used in this research was they found 11 supervisors out of a subset of 37 other supervisors who indicated interest in participating in this study. And they ranged in anywhere from the age of 31 to 60 years old, with the average one being 49, the average age being 49. And they tried to have at least one participant from each of the 5 major departments within this agency, and they tried to split it as evenly as they could by gender. So they had 6 male participants and 5 female participants, and each of the supervisors participated in a single interview. The interview focused on the supervisor's participation in the anti-stigma program as a springboard for discussions. They were asked questions like, what do you think about the company's decision to run the program? And what else do you feel is needed to effectively recognize and address mental health concerns at work? The average interview lasted about 45 minutes, and they were tape recorded and transcribed. Then, using NVivo version 10 software for qualitative analysis, which just is a software that helps them to find themes or similarities across all 11 interviews. Following a reading of these interviews as a whole, the analysis then entailed line-by-line coding and consideration of key concepts and the organization of codes into related categories. Since this was a qualitative, or since we were collecting qualitative data, that means that we were using open-ended and conversational forms of communication to collect data in the form of experiences rather than numerical data. It's interpretive, it's open to many different perceptions as far as what the supervisory role was and how it was relative to managing mental health problems in the workplace. And they found 2 main emergent topics and three themes, and one of the themes was a relevant part of the job. This theme was to, or reveals the relevance of managing mental health problems to the supervisory role and the perceived importance of training in workplace mental health. The second topic area discusses the experiences of supervisors in dealing with mental health problems, or contains the themes expressions of mental health related problems or managing mental health issues in the workplace. These themes describe the varied manifestations, here states, of mental health problems in the workplace and the range of responses from supervisors. As we scroll on, it talks a little bit more about these three, or these two themes, and then the um, four ways that mental health related problems that require attention were expressed in the workplace. And you scroll down a little bit more and you get to how they broke down managing mental health issues in the workplace, what the supervisory role was, and the specific competencies they needed to better manage those specific areas. As we scroll further down, we get a couple quotes from these interviews that better explain what they were discussing as far as the questions being asked and the responses being returned to the interviewer. We get down here to the discussion area, which then reiterates one more time that, the study examined the experiences of frontline supervisors in a large public service organization with respect to mental health and stigma in the workplace. And after they were done with their interviews and they were summarizing their data, they found that even though the sample size of just 11 participants was small, it should still be noted that it does reflect the experience of almost 1/3 of the supervisory staff of this specific organization. And in conclusion, at the end, is where we find out that the study highlighted supervisors' commitment to issues of stigma and mental health in the workplace. And basically, it focused on the fact that there were important issues that these supervisors were experiencing and in their role, and had to illustrate different ways in which stigma and mental health issues related and intersected for these employees. The research offered us a different view of how supervisors experience different tension, and as they carry out different responsibilities and they have different goals and um, things to hit, they are meant to benefit not only the individual in the workplace, but it's also meant to protect their well-being as a supervisor too. The study helped to point for the need for future research training in areas such as balancing privacy and supports, tailoring disclosure processes to suit individuals and workplaces. And that meant not only for the clients they are serving, but themselves as employees, and themselves even more so on the supervisory level. It also talks about managing self-care in the workplace, which is honestly a very overlooked form of preventative measures for helping any and all people. Um, Here it states one last time, the growing attention and commitment of managers to their employees' mental health opens the door to a new research agenda that can shed light on supervisors' needs and lead to best practices not only in managing stigma and the mental health of their employees, but also in promoting their own well-being and leadership capabilities. So what did we all find out? Well, we found out that we need to do a little bit more research, and we need to focus on trainings in a variety of areas to better help people overcome or deal with mental illness and stigma within the workplace. And hopefully this all made sense and you could follow it. And thank you very much for listening.